Receiving data once again.
I will be the judge of when we're receiving data.
Are we receiving data? Are we back?
We are. There's pictures of us on the internet right now. So that's nice.
Rickus, the stream has started. You can stop smiling, dude.
This is kind of serious, and you smiling, and it's
You're just
not the right
smiling
time
the whole time. Hello, Rickus. I think
I
Rickus's
wish I
webcam is
could,
frozen.
but it's just such an exciting moment.
We're just waiting for one more player to join the lobby, and while they do that, this is the series 2 for the day. Our first series, XD versus Divine Esports. XD comfortably taking it 2-0. The next game, NTD versus Energy Esports. Any thoughts?
NTD stands for New Text Document for those
New Text Document.
Correct. For the Noob stream. I feel like I should probably, on my gut instinct, back Energy, but because I'm Gmax, I'm going for New Text Document, mostly because their name is really rad. Not based on any Dota analysis at all. I know that Energy is obviously going to be the favorites for this game, but I'm gonna back New Text Doc. There's a spider. Ah!
Yeah,
I'm taken care of.
I'm gonna have to back Energy, just based on previous results.
Escaped. The spider has escaped. I've been watching that thing for like the last 2 hours. I was waiting for it to come out so I could try and get it outside the house. That is not a good situation for your boy Gmax, just saying.
I'm sorry that you have to go through this, George. I'm actually genuinely concerned for your health, and I hope you make it. I genuinely do. And we are into the draft of game 1.
Yeah,
Energy
switch to
first
the draft screen here. There is a spider roaming around my house, so
preoccupied with the spider. Such dedication.
Riggers, did you join the game?
Yes, I did indeed. I am here with you.
You might just have to enable your in-game voice. Set it to team.
Just open broadcast setting.
Yeah.
Can you hear me now?
I'm just saying you have to do it in Dota so that the people watching in the game can hear you. So it's not just our beautiful viewers on the stream. Right now we see.
Yeah, I've got Rambo coming through in game, so we are all good. Yeah.
Okay, so starting things off, it looks like Energy gonna ban out the Undying, followed up by the pub ban from New Text Document. That's gonna be the Bane Elemental hitting the deck. We seem to see a lot of Bane bans coming out at the moment for the games that I seem to watch with you, Beetle.
I mean, it's not surprising, right? Given that Enfeeble can now steal damage at the higher levels, it's not surprising. It's a pretty insane mechanic that they've added in. I mean, in the past, for the new viewers, Enfeeble has just been, it does exactly that. It weakens your hero. But now what happens is it now weakens your hero with its attack, and Bane now gets that attack. So Bane can now much more comfortably fit into a high damage carry role. And now, I mean, why would we not have a game where Lich is banned, right? I mean,
yeah, that feels like the predictable. I mean, Bane then Lich. It almost feels like we could actually write a little story on our favorite top bans, right? That's where the meta's starting to go, and we can start drawing stats. If we had stats man Sargon here, he could tell us exactly how many times these heroes have been picked and banned. I'm not trying to get Richard to quickly look up stats for me at all, but I'm trying.
Literally just busy trying to quickly look up stats.
Well, that's the fun part about the Noob stream. When we need something, we've got Beetle on hand. He can help us out. We're here to explain how Dota works for the new guys. Once again, let's just kind of run through what's actually going down here. This is the pick in the draft stage. This is where teams decide who they feel like picking up and who they don't feel like playing at all. So each team gets a total of 6 bans, as you can see on each side. They can then pick up 5 heroes, and of course 5 players each play one of the heroes. Each hero has a role, which we'll talk about a little bit later once we start seeing the draft. Energy picking up the Puck as a first pick, followed up by a Jakiro coming out from NTD. Puck, one of those heroes that we discussed earlier on. Great maneuverability, good escapability as well, a great initiator, Just quite a versatile hero, and with a skill gap as well, that, you know, people that actually play this hero are quite fantastic to watch. So I'm keen to see a little bit of pack play, to be honest.
You know what's weird is that I'm just looking at the lich stats now. In pubs, which isn't a great indicator really, it only has a 54% win rate, 53% win rate.
Oh, really?
So yeah, kind of a strange
Ooh.
Oi,
I like that one.
Wait, is that because of his his beautiful muscles, or because of the scariness that Night Stalker is at nighttime? Do you feel like telling the viewers what Night Stalker can do in the nighttime?
Well, just in general, I like the Night Stalker pickup due to the nighttime that he brings. With his ultimate ability that you pick up on level 10, I believe it is now these days, or is it still level 6? Still level 6, right?
6.
Fantastic. You can actually turn daytime into nighttime, where he then gains pretty much maximum movement speed, which means you get around the map a lot quicker. Ganks get set up a lot easier, and of course he's got a silence to go with that, so it's pretty easy to shut down the puck in mid lane during the early stages of the game.
He also has the nice ability to get a lot of extra vision at the nighttime, so he's one of those heroes that just gives kind of all-round gank ability, and very scary. That buff at nighttime, very scary. Countered up there, or shouldn't say countered up, but Rubik, one of those heroes that can kind of be played in any position because of his ability to take people's spells. So that's kind of where Rubik stands. He has an ultimate that he gets, which allows him to take any spell that anyone else has used. So it's kind of like having the ability to use anything that your enemy has. So a very useful and versatile pickup again. Every time I say versatile in Energy's lineup, you can take a shot of sparkling water. Sparkling champagne to spice it up. Let's live large.
There we
Let's
go.
Sparkling champagne.
I
Fake
do
champagne.
like to live dangerously.
I mean, we don't just like Rubik for his spell steal. I mean, he's got telekinesis, which is an incredibly powerful disable, and to, you know, throw people onto hills and just be an annoyance. And so he's a very good utility hero, not only for his offensive, but also for his defensive.
That's very true. That's very true. So can I say versatile again, because he can be used offensively and defensively?
I suppose versatile is the right word for that. You should have used it earlier. I don't know why you didn't.
I don't know. I should have maybe used it. Let's talk about kind of the bans. We see Phantom Lancer and Shadow Fiend banned out for NTD. Shadow Fiend, a very strong mid. I'm not sure if there's a reason that's banned out against Energy in particular. There probably is, and if we had you know, someone that's not George here, we'd probably know why that's being banned out. But beyond that, we see Beastmaster and Tidehunter banned out by Energy. Two heroes that can run in the off-lane position, of course. Tidehunter, very strong there. Beastmaster with his ability to just summon a couple of extra units. His Roar as an ultimate to just stun people up. Helps with the quick early game push. Very capable unit. His one little beast that he summons also has a slow, so he's very annoying in that lane. New text document picking up the Timbersaw. We saw Rock Lee playing that earlier from XD, and just sort of harassing the heck out of his off lane. He was actually most of the time positioned behind the enemy tower, taking their creeps away, and he just really played that hero to what it needed to do. So if New Text Document brings something like that to the table, it's going to be difficult for Energy. I see the Ogre Magi coming out. What are your guys' feelings on that? I like that hero, to be honest.
Oh yes, absolutely. I mean, the Ogre Magi is just one of the more tanky supports in the game, which means you can, during the early game, harass the opposite carry so much, especially if you're going up against the tri-lane versus the solo carry, depending on how you want to run it. And it also gives you the capability to run the aggressive tri-lane, which means you put all your both your supports and your carry into the generally the hard lane in most circumstances, and then you tend to take towers pretty early. So I really like it.
Yeah, I think right now we see Energy just picking up and locking down their supportive heroes. Obviously still looking for a carry position there. New text document, they've picked themselves up a Juggernaut, which is most likely going to play their carry. I suppose Timber probably maybe in the off lane, I'm actually not sure. That's quite an interesting... I don't know how that's going to actually run. Night Stalker's obviously going to be just sort of roaming around as much as possible. Is that what he does in these kind of games, Beetle? Are we... I mean, my meta analysis and understanding is not top tier when it comes down to these things. So some of these picks, I'm not quite sure where they'll be placed. So I'm interested to see as well.
I mean, this sort of game, he's kind of sitting at position 4. And he's going to probably be used a lot more for his vision and for his ability to move around and cause problems for the enemy, more than he's going to be used as any sort of attacking. And when I say position 4, I'm talking about somebody that the support that is
Not
allowed
the
to have a bit of farm
support,
and buy some items. Yeah, so Jakira likely going to fall back to position 5 support and be the warder and buying the utilities, and Night Stalker picking up that position 4.
A Syllabear coming out, a Lone Druid. That's exciting. I mean, that either runs in the off lane or can be run in a mid position. They've got a puck that possibly could run mid or head towards an off lane as well.
Lone Druid's not a very surprising pick. I think it's quite a good pick in this situation.
So Lone Druid, what makes him quite cool is the fact that he summons up a Spirit Bear, and the Spirit Bear is pretty much sort of like an extra hero on the map. You buff that thing with items, and it has the ability to entangle someone, which is essentially a stun, locks them down. And your bear can just be a nuisance. If you get a Radiance, the item that gives you AoE damage over time, you can use your bear to just go and defend a whole creep wave. If you attack a creep, it will come back to you, but if you just leave it there passively, letting your Radiance farm away the creeps, you can use it to just hold off creep pushes and do split pushes. So a very versatile
Storm Spirit's an interesting pick here.
Yeah, because I thought that either Puck or Lone Druid might have gone mid, so I don't know. Is it Storm mid, Lone Druid off lane, Miniature? No, but what's the hard?
No.
Storm Spirit.
I think it'll
Puck's
probably be Storm
mid,
Spirit mid. Storm Spirit mid, Puck off lane, and Lone Druid safe lane.
Yeah.
It's more likely run up of how things are going to go down.
That sounds.
Storm just needs that level 6 really early though.
Oh, an Obsidian Destroyer. We have to ruin his name every time.
Yes, we do. It wouldn't be the same without it.
Outward Devourer. Quite a glass cannon when it comes down to the end game, but very, very powerful, has ability. Look at that Night Stalker hat and the Juggernaut hat.
I'm actually literally I just meant to say Shiny ZA couldn't join us for the second game because she had other engagements.
She's
but I am going to send this to her, and she is going to give us
an opinion.
Our absent vote on which hat is going to.
Night Stalker is
yeah, that Night Stalker is pretty something. Yeah, I mean the Timbersaw also pretty cool looking, but the Night Stalker is the most interesting Night Stalker.
10 seconds remaining.
See, but every time there's an Arcana, it just almost gives it like an unreasonable advantage. It feels like a cheat code.
It does feel like a cheat code. Pay to win on the skins game.
Yeah.
Okay, so once we get into the game, we'll run down a couple of the heroes and who's going to be playing on what. Right now, this is the skins time, so where other people might be talking about who's picked up what, we just have to focus on who looks the best. So far for us, what are we voting? Without Shani's votes? I'm going
I feel like Night Stalker here, yeah. Night Stalker, maybe a close second on the Timbersaw and a third on the Juggernaut.
I'll favor Timber just for the heck of it.
Yeah.
Okay. So it's 2-1. This could be interesting. We're getting ready to go. Beetle, do you want to sign us off?
Here it is, game 1, Energy Esports versus NTD. Casting for us today is ZAG Max, at ZAG Max, and at Rickus Strauss 16 on Twitter. So go and give them a follow. Good luck, fellows.
Thank you so much.
Enjoy the Dota action.
Thank you so much. And this is my first time casting up with Rickus, my man Rickus. I'm excited. I don't know.
It's gonna be good.
It is going to be good. I think what we can do now during the pause time, because we got a bit of pause, we can actually run down through a couple of the heroes, right?
Yes.
So let me take us through the side of the Radiance. We've got Epic for days. He's going to be playing on that Timbersaw. We've got Juggernaut being played by Text. Puck playing the Night Stalker. We've got Sangreal playing the Outworld Devourer. And we've got Good Guy Jakiro being played by the Dark Dice. Did I say that right?
I think so. It makes sense that it would be that. Because Dota things and Dota names.
Yeah.
Let's actually run through Dire side. We've got Look at the Sun on that lone druid, always fun. And then Chelsea is going to be rocking it up on that puck, which does give us an indication that he will more than likely take up that offlane. On that Storm Spirit, it's going to be ACG on the Ogre Magi DMBN. Tongue Twister coming up, and MMR Agents on the Rubik. Oi.
Oi.
Tongue twisters galore, but I've got to say, I mean, just based on draft here, it looks like I think the energy side is actually going to probably come out on top here.
Are you just doing the predict the victory?
Yeah, I'm trying to, but it's such a valid balance on both sides because I mean you've got the Outworld Devourer, which is really good at stealing intel up against the Storm and the Puck. And then, of course, the insane pushing power from the Juggernaut during the mid game, which is going to swing things around. And it's a really hard balance to find between two sides.
Friends,
Yeah,
I have some feedback from Shiny ZA about the hats. The Storm Spirit is her favorite because, I quote, "Bottom has a magical hat like it's the hat of unicorns." So that is
Oh, wow.
the
That's the
official Shiny
official-
ZA feedback.
Yeah, I would have expected nothing more from Shani, to be honest.
Valid.
And a special shout out to Overworld Destroyer. That's
Overworld
its name,
Destroyer.
right?
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's
for
its name.
for having a better mask than the unicorn hat of Storm Spirit.
Yeah, the Overworld Destroyer joke that came from our first Noob cast, where I just completely destroyed the name, and from then on out I've actually renamed it in the game files. So as you can see, it's completely, oh no, it's actually right now. I don't know how that worked out. I thought it was gonna, I thought I could save myself, but I guess
Wasn't it? I mean, there was lots of names for it right before it actually became officially Outworld Devourer. Like, I feel like it changed a few times. Yeah. So I mean,
think
it's
there
not
were
our
like
fault.
3 or 4 at
Bell's
least.
fault. Yeah.
yeah, I think
Volvo,
Prophecy
please
was
fix.
saying that it's changed a couple of times. He was
Yeah,
something
Yeah.
in development. I don't know. He had something like that. I should have paid
yeah,
attention, to be honest.
it was, and I need to remember now what it was during the Dota 1 days. It had a name, then at the beginning of Dota 2 they gave it another one, and then somewhere along the lines it changed again. So it's been through like 3 different names over the course of its lifetime.
Right now we've just got Game of Pause going down.
I'm
This is-
spending my time looking at the effigies on each side.
So it's all good. It generally, when I seem to shoutcast games with Tiny, we have this weird thing where the people's internet just dies. So this could be a new thing. Rickus and Gmax, we back to
Well,
the same
considering
Just
that
Dota.
2 of our casters' internet died today, including yours, Gmax, I feel like this might actually be a thing.
That's true. My internet is still dead, so we're still running the LTE life, trying to make things work. So if we have a little bit of lag, I don't really apologize. That's because of the missing radio waves in the wireless transmission signals. Every time I see a cloud
Missing
come
radio
over, you know, I try and change it, but I just, you know, I don't have impact like that.
I haven't quite figured out the way they yet. But this pause is taking a long time, and I
This
mean,
is
it's
a-
really affecting the entertainment value because
is-
we are now talking about clouds. Okay,
Yeah,
well, they're ready to go again,
Yay!
thankfully.
Yay! Yeah, we
The
almost
nick of
lost the
time.
cast. We almost lost the
Yeah,
cast.
there was a moment where we could have lost all the viewers, and we managed. But I mean, or they could carry on pausing.
Yeah. Well, hopefully, you know, we can have one unpause and that's good to go. Kicking things off game 1 in a best of 3 Mega8 Noob stream. Not Noob players, it's just the Noob broadcast team.
It's going to be a good one, actually. It looks like it's going to be the four heroes down towards bottom for NTD. So it'll be interesting to see whether they try and snatch the early bounty rune to try and get a bit of an early gold advantage.
Yeah,
I think
what's
they just might, but going up against the Ogre Magi, it's going to be pretty hard there.
Yeah, I mean, they committing 4 heroes, like you mentioned, down towards bottom. It looks like the side of the Dire just pinging things out. Trying to scout out. Outworld Devourer. Going to be the first man to spot out the back of the Ogre Magi. Making their way in. Energy on the retreat. Just sort of showing face, but not quite engaging just yet. Still 14 seconds on the clock until Ruins and Creeps spawn in. Everybody just playing around with their life. It looks like Nightstalker and Jakira are going to rush up top. Put some pressure here on Energy as a new text document trying to steal out this rune. They have established control. ACG going to TP out. They are going to pick up that rune. And a good rune still coming out there from NCD down towards bottom. They did have the hero advantage. No donkey. No new text document have default courier, which is a donkey. In Dota 1, this was a chicken. So often older players still call it the chicken from time to time. That's true. Most games you'll still hear it called the chicken. No one calls it the donkey. But everyone still knows what they're talking about. So the lineup towards middle, ACG going to be supported by DMBN, the tongue twister of Rickers Strauss. Sangreal on the Outworld going to just try and face things up here. He's going to struggle a bit with the supports, of course. That's going to be at the sacrifice of a little bit of experience and things. So, you know, if they make this work out and they get early kills onto that Outworld, that's a worthwhile support out towards the middle lane. Or just prevent the hero from dying. Let's look up towards top. We can see, of course, look at the Sun playing on that Lone Druid. He's going to be supported by MMR agents on the Rubik. Going up against Epic for Days on that Timbersaw. Once again, you can just see how aggressive Timbers can play. This Timber, however, not leveling up. Oh, there comes the reactive armor. So, got his Timber chains first. Now he's got his reactive armor. So, going to be in the happy for any sort of attacks coming against him. And you can see him just sort of harassing and trying to make things happen. MMR agents going to be dropped down very, very low early on. Just trying to counter harass. But every attack giving more HP.
Yeah, I mean, the reactive armor is so good. But actually, the tongue twister himself picks up a nice little kill in the mid lane. He was actually standing around there for the better part of the minute and a half now, and just waiting for Samuel to move out of range of his tower, and eventually just decided to dive him under his tower, and not giving a damn about it. So,
yeah, as I mentioned,
ACG.
that's what they need to do to capitalize on having a support hero in that middle lane. Sangreal gonna possibly have a couple more of those deaths if Energy decide to rerun it in that position. The tri lane, of course, down towards bottom. That's what New Tech's document's all about. Juggernaut trying to, you know, just farm it up, keep things safe. He's got the support of Nightstalker and, of course, Chikiro. Looking at the last hit deny graph right now, he's sitting in a third position. Everyone kind of close, 15, 15, and 14. Getting led up, of course, by Storm Spirit in that middle lane. That hero is quite strong in that last hit department. ACG just tramping up on Sangreal. Sangreal sitting on a measly 6, so he's losing out on that. Out towards top, it looks like they're trying to make something happen on Epic for Days, committing 3 heroes up here. Epic for Days is down low, and the stun going to come out. Nice hold coming out from Rubik as well, and committing to getting that kill onto that Timbersaw. So good rotation from Energy, taking out that Timbersaw early, not letting him get too strong too early. And right now, Energy, 2 kills up, making things work out quite early on. And of course, Juggernaut, he's just going to sit down in the bottom lane and farm up. DMBN staying up top. He's just not letting Epic for Days have any space. You can see him just staying ultra aggressive here. As soon as Epic for Days tries to step into the lane, he gets harassed down. That bear, and look at the Sun trying to obviously get farmed up as quick as possible. Chelsea playing that puck down in this off-lane position, just trying to steal a couple of the creeps we can see that have been pulled here into the enemy jungle. Experiencing gold for nothing. 4 bounty runes spawn every 2 minutes, 2 in the Dire jungle and 2 in the Radiant jungle. Picking up 1 rewards XP and gold to that hero. Correct. So picking up those little bad boys definitely helps out a lot for the support heroes that are not really getting the last hits. A rotation coming in. Sangreal in trouble here as DMBN coming in. The Astra Imprisonment trying to save himself here. DMBM amps himself up, and they're just going to hit away at him. He is going to drop, but the big rotation coming in as Tupac and the Dark Ice rotate in, trying to focus down on ACG. He is going to try and get his way out of there. He's slowing him down as much as possible. The Jewel Breath coming out, but the turn coming in, and Dark Ice getting very, very low and going to get killed, in fact, by the Rubik. That ranged lightning attack going to be enough to finish him off. So nice rotation coming in from New Tech's document, but unfortunately for them, Energy just turning and burning and coming out on top.
Yeah, one thing I think we skipped over, but during the draft, is actually the amount of magical burst damage that Energy have. There are 3 different types of damage that you can generally deal. You've got your magical, your physical, and pure damage. Now, pure damage goes through anything, but the magical damage is generally something that deals a lot of damage during a short period of time, as we actually get a lot of action here. Sangreal is more than likely to get in Firebolt from MMR agents, and he does drop down.
He's not having a game of his life. They are sitting on top of this mid outworld like no tomorrow. Unfortunately for him, that glass cannonness nature is really leaving him susceptible. Tupac going to come in on ACG, but not managing to do anything, as look at the Sun actually finishes off Epic for days up top in that solo off lane. So Energy looking very, very strong. Currently with a 3k net worth lead at 6 kills to 0. Energy just sitting and enjoying the game, creating enough space. As you can see, that Syllabear, or the Lone Druid, now at the top of the last hits graph, as he just farms safely in his lane, get the space, gonna do as much as he can with that.
Yeah, and it's also really dangerous. I mean, Lone Druid does have the capability to build both the physical and magical damage, but considering the lineup that NTD have at this stage, the magical damage will more than likely come out, as Epic for Days just manages to snatch the bound to rune there. But it's going to be interesting to how he actually goes after this, whether he builds the Radiance on the Bear or whether he tries to max up his physical damage later on up against his Timbersaw.
I see what you're saying. A very lucky escape coming out there from Nightstalker, managing to just pick up that haste rune, of course, and run himself to safety. It looks like there's a couple of heroes congregating in the middle lane. The Dark Dice on the Jakiro has come in to support Sangreal. They've realized that their mid hero is just getting ganged to, you know, destruction. The Rubik is waiting there. They've had the constant harassment coming out from the Ogre Magi as well. So it's been a very, very difficult place up there. Epic for Days, of course, he's facing up with his Timbersaw up against... Oh, I just missed the kill. Why did I miss this? Oh, it's down below. Finally, Chelsea gets dropped down. That was a combination of Tupac and Tex just going ham. Juggernaut securing the kill at the end of the day, and that's going to be all good for them. Looks like they're going to react back top. Epic for Days, he's dropped down low. That magical burst, like you mentioned earlier, with that physical stack, the slow from the fire, the attack from the bear, enough to just drop Epic for Days down. So he's having a very difficult game at the moment up top. Not the same kind of game that we saw from XD running their Timbersaw. He's sitting at 0 for 3 right now and just kind of struggling. But we can just see the positioning from Energy, just very, very aggressive, constantly just peeking their way into the Radiant side of the map, trying to get a little bit of vision, and a gang coming in once again. Look at this magical damage going ham. ACG going to jump in and just finish things off as well. Nice secure kill secured. Tupac can't react against that. 3 heroes going to run out, and Sangreal middle just left to farm.
Yeah, and a big thing about them shutting down this Outworld Devourer early on in the game is he's not necessarily good at catching up when it comes to net worth. So he's essentially, if you get off to a fantastic start and you get your first item on the Hurricane Pike or something like that, it's fantastic, but he's not good at catching up if he is behind. So they're doing a really, really good job at making sure he gets pretty much nothing out of this mid lane, which is going to help Energy out a load during the late game.
Yeah, just to talk about Nightstalker's ultimate, we saw that stats come up there. Our stats man also being just used to give some general information. He has the ability to make the entire map go invisible or go nighttime, get extra vision. And right now, look at the Sun in a lot of trouble as the gang train comes in. Epic for Days, he's down low. He's trying to get out of there. Does he have enough to just timber chains out? Throws the chakram down. They turn back on. DBM going to just get dropped right down. Now they're turning on MMR Agent. Can he get out? Yes, it looks like he can. So a nice little turn coming out from New Tech's document to pick up 2 kills up on that top lane. In return, they did give up their Timbersaw, but at least they did react, find 2 kills in return. So just making things happen where other things happen. So in return, getting 2 kills there, not the worst thing, of course. getting your off lane killed's not what you really want, but the best out of a bad situation, so to say. Rambo.
Yeah, definitely. You do, however, NTD did smoke into that one, so it's not ideal that you lose your offlaner, seeing that you were the aggressors into the play. But the fact that you do still end up, I say Dodo, that you do still end up getting 2 kills out of it is the better situation that you could have hoped for. Obviously, you would like to get out of there with no casualties, but unfortunately, RNG isn't always on your side.
No, 100%. I agree with you. And right now, we just got a little pause, waiting for the action to kick off once again. A cheeky little pause time allows us to just look at the net worth graph. Right now, Lone Druid leading up the net worth. He's sitting on a cheeky 4.8k. He's got a beautiful little bear here as well. Just to comment on that. Look at that panda. Beautiful. Followed up closely by the mid-storm spirit, ACG. Making things happen. The Lightning Man himself, not quite Zeus. There's another hero called Zeus, also a captain of the Lightning. Who else does Lightning? Razor, Disruptor.
Razor, yeah.
Razor, Disruptor.
I don't know if Disruptor's more Thunder, isn't he?
There's definitely Lightning though.
But he's got the Thunder Clap.
He's got the Thunder. He's definitely got Lightning. I'm gonna call him that as part of the Lightning people. Game
and
is
they're all
unpausing.
blue.
We are going live once again, yes. And we are down on the bottom lane. Tupac coming to join in on Tex, trying to get Chelsea down low. Tex using the Blade Fury to get Chelsea down low. Chelsea in a lot of trouble here, actually just going to be picked up. Tupac going to use the, what is this thing called? Void. So Void creates a damaging void that slows an enemy unit and deals damage. So quite a powerful, gets amped at night, and right now Sangreal in a lot of trouble, but trying to turn out, drops the ulti enough to actually get the kill with the last hit coming in from Dark Dice as well as the tower. So not really the waste of the ulti if you get the kill. Lone Druid can summon a bear which can attack if close to Lone Druid, like we can see here. Lone Druid just using that bear to farm the neutral creeps, allows him to build up stacks and farm things that a single hero might not be able to do every time. So very, very strong hero. And he, in fact, can also morph into a bear at later stages, which then becomes a melee hero as opposed to range, and he can kind of toggle it, so you can do a lot of things with that hero. I'm not going to say versatile. I don't want people to get too crazy on the sparkling water.
It's an incredibly well-rounded hero as he tries to get aggressive here. But as I said earlier, I mean, he can build both ways when it comes to damage. He can split push. He can play fighting. So it is one of the more well-rounded heroes in the game, considering you can play it in either of the 3 lanes as well. So really, really nice pickup from Energy to just make sure that they've got an extremely well-balanced lineup in general.
Yeah, I agree with you. They really do just have some maneuverability. Their net worth lead just at 4k. It is only 11 minutes in, and right now they just seem to be picking off the kills that they can secure. Chelsea having lost 2 to that bottom lane. Is it 2 kills that he's given up there? Yes, it is just 2. Might be another one. Is going to manage to get out. Puck is so maneuverable. Literally phase shift and use the ball and escape from there. The Dark Dice trying to play around with Lone Druid here, using that proc from the burn to just melt away at the bear's HP, trying to stop the farm. In return, Epic for days, liking the space that he's going to get, allow him to get a couple of last hits. And it looks like down towards the bottom, Old Roshan land, it is in fact Tupac that's going to be caught out pretty quickly. 4 heroes from Energy responding and not allowing him to get anywhere. And they look like they're moving back towards middle. They're going to send a TP towards that middle lane. Big jump in coming out. Puck is there. He's ready. He's dropped the Dream Coil, locking down poor old OD. OD just dropping one is going to get killed all the way down. Puck not even looking to, chase after Jakiro. They've got the hero that they need. That's the critical kill. Take out the mid hero and put a little bit of pressure towards middle, perhaps. Lone Druid, he's just going to sit and just carry on farming. Sorry, Rikus, you can go now. I was just going to say he's just farming.
No, it's all good. Bar the lone druid, though, this is one department where Energy do lack slightly, is they don't have a huge amount of pushing power. So during this early stages of the game, if they do catch someone in the mid lane or bottom lane, they don't really have a lot of wave clear to actually take down towers early on, as in the top lane. There's action, MMR agent. No! ACG is actually going to zip on in, and that should be a very dead offlaner.
No, that was beautiful. I mean, they kind of like ran in, baited it. I saw Rubik just steal the Blade Fury from Jugger, turn back in, and really capitalized on that. It's lonely at the top. Lone Druid is leading the net worth at the moment with 6,500 gold in professional games on 7.07. Lone Druid has a 47% win rate. So that's an interesting statistic right now. Hopefully we're looking to change that, says Energy. They're running their Lone Druid. They want to get that win under their belt. Right now, 6.6k. Let's have a look at what Lone Druid's bear is actually running. Let's just see what I can't actually. Why can't I click on the bear? There I can. So it's got a Blightstone. That item actually takes away a target's armor. That makes your physical attacks more effective, essentially. It's got an Orb of Venom, which is there to just slow down people as much as possible. Rickus, are you still there?
Yeah, I'm still here, sorry.
Sorry, I just had a sound that sounded like you disconnected from the call.
It was a moment of weakness.
It was a moment of weakness. Whose camera is going down the middle of the map? Is that Beetle?
That might be Beetle, yes.
I can see Beetle's camera and I can follow it.
Actually, the Spirit Bear, like I mentioned earlier,
I don't know what's happening to Rickus's something.
For some reason, when I try to click on the Radiance, it just completely drops me out of Skype. But the Spirit Bear is actually, he's queued up the Radiance here, which means he is probably going to go more for the team fight, let's all bunch up together and run at towers type of approach with the damage over time that it provides. So you lose, I believe it is 500 damage per second, if I'm not mistaken, or is it 50? It's one or the other. But it deals a huge amount of damage over time, and it's just really, really good for team fights, especially with the puck lined up as well. So if you get everyone caught in the dream coil, they're kind of stuck, they can't run anywhere. You're dealing a lot of damage over time with a lone druid, and then of course with a Blightstone, and he'll probably end up picking up a Majolna afterwards. He's going to be dealing a huge amount of right-click damage as well along with that. So you're dealing all sorts of damage at the same time, and the pack is there just to kind of catch everyone out, and then Storm Spirit can zip around and pick off people on the backlines if he really wants to as well.
We are resuming, and up top they've already done what they needed to do. Energy got their kill, paused the game up, and continues with their dominating movements. If we're going to just look at kills, 12 for 5 right now. They feeling happy, just popping up that shrine. The shrine here gives a boost of mana and health once activated, and then of course has a 300-second cooldown. So need to kind of time that up. Now we see Lone Druid actually pops his ultimate form. I need to get a good view of that. Look at that bad boy go. That's actually a beautiful skin. Shani would actually be proud.
Yeah, and it's actually in the mid lane where a lot of action is going down. It was the jump in from ACG onto the Jakiro, but he got silenced up, and now it's actually MMR agent joining up in the fight. ACG in a bit of trouble now. He's running out of mana, and he's probably not going to get out of this with Epic for days, trying to follow up, but he might end up getting bursted down here. And he does end up dropping. So
that was a big turn from Energy, even tricking Rickus into thinking they couldn't do what they just did. And ACG on the brink of death turns around with a massive lightning bolt and ends Timber's dreams right there. We saw Rubik reaching out and securing a kill with his lightning. So it's kind of Team Lightning right now, Energy's side.
Can we call them Team Grease then?
No, we can. I know you love the whole Grease thing. I've seen you do Grease. We cannot call them Grease. Otherwise, unless you sing us something from Grease.
Well, then the obvious thing is go Grease Lightning. I mean, it's right there.
Okay, we're not even gonna get into that. But there's a lot of hate on the Noob stream. It's like it was a Noob stream, not a singing stream. I'm out. And right now it looks like Energy out for vengeance towards bottom. Juggernaut dropped down so quickly, not even managing to get out. Tupac gonna be the next man. ACG just lightning in around, causing all kinds of havoc. His team just right clicking. and dropping that down. Looking to pick up this bottom tier 1 tower. That push from Energy now starting to happen. You mentioned earlier they didn't have the ability to really push. Syllabear, Lone Druid is going to start coming online for the tower pushes as well. His bear does extra damage when attacking a tower, right? Does it? I don't know.
No, it's just really, really good because of the amount of physical damage that
it does. It has
does
Demolish. Increases the power of the Spirit Bear, causing it to deal more damage to buildings and have additional spell resistance. I know so much about Dota, it scares me. Just that's just a joke. The Spirit Bear, look at him. He's very tanky. He's just running in. He's been buffed up by that Ogre Magi and the ultimate being dropped by Dark Ice in that middle lane. I'm not sure if he meant to drop that, but it seemed like a bit of an early drop. And down towards bottom, ACG is just pushing with these creeps. Text is just allowing him the space. He's going to spin around, and ACG, not even worried right now, just backs off and just carries on with that push. Trying to force NTD to bring a couple of supports down towards bottom, open up the middle, the top lane. They've already taken the tier 1, but they can push the tier 2. Just playing that systematic game right now. Beware the burn. I like that. Beware, beware. Did I convey that enough to people that can't see that it's spelt incorrectly? The Lone Druid's bear is building a radiance which deals 60 damage per second to anyone within its range. Puns with Beetle. I like that pun. You can stare. You're a stats
It's a good
man
pun.
and a pun man. And right now we see that reaction actually coming out from NTD. A big smoke rotation heading back towards that middle lane, in fact. And possibly just spotting out that Ogre Magi. I see the pings coming out, and his smoke has been broken. And right now, he's just going to try and TP his way out. Has get banished, so that's going to cancel that TP. The reaction going to come in from Energy right now. Is they going to try and back up their teammate? Nope, they are not. They do not want to have a part of that action. And no need to engage on that. We see Puck just playing a little bit aggressive on their side of the river, but back out with good time to spare. And it looks like Text trying to make something happen at Look at the Sun. And Look at the Sun going to just try and best the format up. Has been ultied by Jugger, but quickly procced onto the creep. So not working out for Text in that situation. And Look at the Sun escapes. He's going to be more than happy to just go back into the bushes and farm up. His bear and him are looking well healthy on 9,900 net worth.
Yeah, looking nice and pretty. ACG has actually almost completed his Bloodstone, so he'll be zipping around a lot more often with the amount of mana regen that it does provide for him. I think you start off with about 12 mana per second on that zip as he actually jumps in towards mid. This is probably going to be Dark Dice dropping down. Another zip around, getting caught in the ice path, and it just decides to run away.
I feel like he would have got that kill if you hadn't said he was going to get the kill. Have you not heard of the Caster's Curse? The thing that torments us as casters?
I have. I just prefer not to believe in it. Hoping it will change my own fate.
So guys, I just had a random thought of spontaneity. I'm spontaneous. So there are these little things around the map called neutral creep camps. And neutral creep camps are a lot cooler than my pronunciation of spontaneous. Anyways, the different creeps spawn up at 1 minute intervals at these various locations. Some are stronger than others. You basically farm these to get yourself some experience and gold, whilst not having the pressure of the lane and enemy heroes. Of course, if they ward up your bushes, then you're in trouble and no farming for you. But right now it just looks like Energy and NTD having a little joust between this area, between middle and bottom. MMR agent actually going to drop Epic for days down up towards down towards this bottom lane. That bear going ham on the tower, and that poor tower's health dropping really quickly. That's going to be a tier 2 for Energy, who have yet to actually concede any of their towers just yet. So they've almost dropped, you know, the towers. They're down low, but they haven't actually conceded one just yet. So Energy looking to make this a building clean sweep as they set their sights on these bottom racks. They're down here. They're putting pressure on. They want something to happen. We see the Jakira ultimate being forced out. The bear you see just standing there, tanking a lot of the damage and doing a lot of damage actually to that tower. It's dropped down to about half HP. And Sangreal, he's going to elect to go back out towards middle as Energy backs out. So it looks like the counter push might come out from NTD. No, they're all reacting. They've all gone down bottom, which is pretty much what Energy wants, right? You force them out into position. They're all sharing experience. They're not getting the farm that they need. And you continue your lead. So 15k net worth lead for Energy Esports. Brickus, anything you want to say or have observed? Are they going to maybe look towards a Roshan at some point soon?
Well, they have the capability. One thing I have noticed about Energy in general...
A big jump coming in from ACG. Puck there to help him out. He did have the Arcane Rune. And Tupac just burnt so quickly. He thought he was safe, but not for this train that's coming in. All of Energy now, part 2. So make that 3. Now putting pressure on this top tower. And it's actually 2 because right now... Ogre Magi hasn't even joined in the fight. So it's just ACG and Chelsea putting pressure on this top tower. And now DMBN going to join up, hit the tower as well. Look at that attack speed on ACG when he's got the buff coming in from Ogre Magi. So he's got Bloodlust, which improves allies' attack speed and stuff. Look at the sun has dropped down the Dark Dice. I actually missed that kill. And it looks like Puck could have been in a little bit of trouble, but has got out successfully. That little maneuverable, not a snake, but should be a snake, is a dragon, a fairy dragon.
I don't know if I would call Puck a dragon. He's not nearly intimidating enough to be called a dragon.
He's a fairy dragon.
But Energy are looking towards Roshan now. Roshan, of course, drops that Ages of the Immortal, which gives whoever carries it the second life.
Were they listening to my strategy to take Roshan, or is that just kind of what happens in Dota when you push the objectives, the team's playing super passive and giving you the space? Roshan going to be dropped uncontested. I'm not even sure if NTB is quite a aware of what's going on. They're going to be surprised. Puck is a fairy dragon, not a dragon. So then it is a dragon, Statsman. And look at this. Chelsea going to go in. ACG right there. Sangreal's in trouble. Not before Dark Dice drops down. Just a lot of teamwork. The ultimate coming in from Juggernaut doing work. MMR Agent is going to be procced at the last jump. A lot of ultimates being dropped down. The Ice Path. The LT from Jakiro as well. 2 from Energy have fallen. One of them being that ACG. He did have the Aegis. He's back in it. He's getting out of that ulti. And just look at him dancing around. Doing work right now. He's just doing as much damage as possible, as well as just locking down heroes. Chelsea throwing down those ever so dangerous Orber balls, and the DPS just from look at the sun and his powerful little companion just working out for them. So they did drop one in the Aegis fight. They dropped MMR Agents, of course, on the back end of the Juggernaut LT with a lucky proc right at the end. But still favoring, because they've dropped down Night Stalker as well as Outwall Devourer, and a lot of ultimates having to get used there. And a big jump in from ACG, going to catch Takira on the backlines here and not going to be able to get out. That's going to free up this tier 2 mid. And Energy just going to town right now as they start to look towards the high ground.
Yeah, that Aegis of the Immortal doing a really nice job there. Generally, you like to keep the Aegis for when you try to breach the high ground and try to take down Rax. But with the lead that Energy have made up here, as ACG jumps in yet again, they end up...
What was beautiful there was they jumped on, they secured the lockdown on the Juggernauts, and just no reaction coming out, and they're just sitting in the middle right now. Just ACD dancing around. The ultimates just not paying off as the bear just going ham. So many spulls going down from Energy Esports right there. I wish I had technical ability to even understand half of what they could do in that short amount of time. And GG going to be called. First game going the way of Energy Esports. NTD almost holding on to the end, but they dropped the racks and deciding to call GG. Best of 3 game. Let's get into the panel.
Thanks very much, G-Max, for taking, and Rambo, let me not forget, for taking us through game 1. Convincing, one would say easy win for Energy Esports. Not too much trouble along their way, making good use of Storm Spirit's very mobile method of play, and Lone Druid's Bear doing a lot of the damage and a lot of the tanking for the team. So, you know, good synergy, good draft all around. Any thoughts on that game?
I think Energy just really did a really good job during the early game of controlling the pace. They had very, very good rotations, making sure that NTD constantly had to rotate their supports to lanes where they didn't want to be and soaking up XP of the core heroes. And so not really allowing them to get the proper items in time, not allowing them to get their levels at the same rate as the side of Energy were doing. And then from there, working and building momentum up to a point where they could all group up, fight, and just essentially run at a tower.
Yeah, ACG just did great work with his mid-storm spirit. I think the complete lockdown on the early game for Sangreal on his Outworld Devourer just didn't favor him at all. He got killed very, very often, very early. Couldn't capitalize, get any items that he really needed to survive. Big rotations, of course, coming in from DMBN. Good support, of course. MMI agents, of course. I just feel Energy had a very synchronized game of Dota, and NTD just with their draft got caught on the back foot. Tex was trying to get farm in the bottom lane, but unfortunately just not enough to really respond. They did have Timbersaw in the tank in that off lane, but he also just had a very tough time. Didn't get off to the start that he needed to just secure that lane. So a lot of rotations being forced out to deal with that doesn't allow you the space that you need to get really ahead. So yeah, I think Energy played really well, good draft, and a convincing win in game 1, as everyone else would have predicted. But I was behind new text documents, so -1 for GMAX, right?
There's still time. It's a best of 3. They could bounce back.
Well,
yeah,
they will.
They could.
They will.
I mean,
I've got it.
I mean, let's talk itemization in that last game quickly. We saw. I'm just trying to. It was Puck that had the Yule's Scepter of Divinity. Then you have Rubik with his lift. They had a lot more disable and a lot more ability to control the other team than NTD had. I mean, NTD's only lockdown being from OD, so that it makes a big difference, and that's a sort of drafting thing that new players should be taking into account. That it's fine for everybody to pick a carry hero and to try and be the heroes that do the most damage and get the most kills. But it's also important to be able to have that ability to control your team, and that's where the balance in the drafting and picking heroes comes in. Supports are critical, and it's really important. And if you don't have the ability to have those lockdowns on your heroes, there are items you can get to help you with that. And Yule's Scepter on Chelsea was a very good build in this game, and he was very mobile. He had the Blink Dagger, and he had his shiny orb thing that he can jump around on. So, and Storm Spirit had his Ball Lightning, a very mobile lineup, and it proved way too much for NTD to deal with.
Yeah, we can't use the word versatility because I've used it a lot, but they really were in all firms very, very versatile in that lineup. And look at the Sun, he had a great off lane with his Lone Druid, got off to the start that he needed, secured that Radiance on his bear, and had a great gold per minute. I'd be interested to see what he actually had. Probably somewhere around 600, 700 GPM, I assume. I didn't quite see it, but yeah, he just did what he needed for his team. I don't think the carry from Tex got anywhere near that. He tried his best, but just got completely locked down. Like you said, the supports just create so much space and allow you to get done what you need to get done as a carry. And it's often in public and more newbie Dota. I say newbie because of the Dota that I play in, and probably Richard and Rickus, we all play in the same sort of league, not in these top level games, but like that's where supports are sort of underrated and people don't want to play them in public games. And it's like, oh, I don't want to play support, but at the end of the day, you can't have a team of 5 carries. Like it just wouldn't work out.
Yeah, I agree. It definitely is. And things that are so critical to the game are so badly underrated in newer players and lower skill games. Like wards are so important, and keeping your enemy team dewarded is so important. And there's not enough amount of stress can be put onto how important those things are. So, find your role. If it's not getting all the kills like me and being useless at Dota, even if you're in the team and all you're doing is just building wards and building things to lock down the enemy, that's fine. You're doing a good job at what you're doing, especially in the lower tier games. So, just find the role that you're good at, whether it's killing things or stopping things so that other people can kill them.
Yeah, just do something that contributes in a way that you can do it. Like there's always that sort of, I could do this or I could do that, but if you've got someone that you know is a competent carry in a public game, we're not even talking about these games, but just in a game of Dota that you end up playing, it's sometimes nice to just step back, let them do what they need to do, and you step into a support role. If they let you down with the carry, well then, you know, that's life. And next time if you queue with them, you say, hey, no, you play the CM this time, mate. So we are going to jump into the draft. Beetle, would you mind just chatting to Rickus with it a bit? I need to just go make sure that the internet side, my cap, everything is still okay. Open my doors, I'm cooking.
Yeah, so up first, the same sort of start to this with the added Rubik ban. So Undying banned out first for Energy Esports along with Spirit Breaker, Rubik for NTD. Nothing too out of the ordinary here. Undying's kind of a strange ban. It's not something I'd particularly expect to be banned out.
Dire team banned. Radiant team pick. Dire team pick. Bang. Dire team pick.
Winter Wyvern.
Ten seconds remaining. Radiant team pick.
Slada.
Dire team banned.
I speak for the trees.
Ten seconds remaining. 5 seconds remaining. Radiant team ban. Ten seconds remaining. 5 seconds remaining.
Beetle, is everything okay?
Team ban. Radiant team ban. Dire team pick.
Richard, can you hear me? Okay, so everyone, is Rickus just not here? I can't hear Beetle at all.
10 seconds remaining.
Why can't I hear Beetle? Beetle? Were you muted? I heard you breathe. I heard someone breathe, so I don't know who breathed. That's weird. Anyway, let me just run down through what's gone down here. We see the bans come out from Energy, Undying, Spirit Breaker, Night Stalker, Omni Knight, and Darkseer being banned out for them. We see a Rubik, a Puck, a Vengeful Spirit, a Phantom Lancer, and a Mirana being banned out for NTD. Just to talk through a couple of the picks, we see that Winter Wyvern, very, very strong pickup coming out from NTD, combined up with the Slardar, who we saw in earlier games. Also just a strong initiator, has the ability to sprint away if necessary. Underlord, a very, very big pusher. He has the ability to also just carry his team to a predetermined location. This time around, it looks like Energy is going to pick up the Timbersaw. For some reason...
Hello?
There we go, you're back.
I opened Epic Game Launcher, and it must have stolen the mic away.
Yeah, no, it was crazy. I could see your face, and you were talking and giving me thumbs up, but you weren't actually there. And then Rickus isn't here, so I don't.
Rickus wasn't in the lobby when we started the game, so we're gonna have to rebuild after this draft, which is, yeah, it'll be fine. It'll be a quick build, but it's gonna be fine. Let's do the draft.
Yeah, well, I don't really even understand how rebuilds work. I've never had that happen.
You just basically just re-pick through the same draft as you picked the first time around.
Okay, so they just repeat.
So it's just like a super accelerated draft, yeah.
Okay, so right now we see NTD just using up a little bit of their time. It's their chance to pick up a hero. It looks like they're still looking for a core right now, unless, well, actually, just there's no unless. They're definitely looking to pick up a core right now.
Interesting, Abyssal Underlord being the first time we've seen that in the Noob stream. No, we had one game last week with it.
Did we have one?
Yeah, I'm sure it was last week we had an Abyssal Underlord. It might have been the week before.
I have bad memory if I don't remember the Underlord from last week, but that's why I'm not the stats man. I just do this.
Well, neither am I,
thing.
technically.
Technically, it's just you and I in the most awkward space right now.
Yeah.
Casting.
I mean, the person who has all the knowledge is missing.
Oh, look at that tiny little Clinks.
Very small next to the Underlord, and another big man in the Tidehunter. So I mean, Clink's very mobile, ranged archer with a lot of fire damage, the ability to burn through heroes really fast. Also quite good at escaping thanks to his invisibility. Tidehunter, a support, sort of a position 4 support, needs a bit of farm to get going, but once he does, with his Ravage, a very, very good initiator in fights. So Tidehunter is the kind of guy that you want to jump in and start things off.
I'm looking forward to screaming "Big Ravage" into the microphone.
Yeah.
You know,
ground tentacles, right?
Ground tentacles. I forgot.
So it's interesting that Bane got through as well. I mean, Bane, as we were discussing earlier, sort of quite good at being a support and now a damage dealer. And it looks like they will, depending on the next pickup, I assume going to be their mid, unless they run Bane mid.
Yeah, I'm not quite sure. Normally in the games that I've seen, Bane goes off lane, but they got the Tidehunter as well, so that Tide can go off lane, or Timber can go off lane. Timber could go mid. Like, I don't know enough about their Energy players, which I wish I did, to know what they would be able to play. Sean would be able to tell us.
Yeah, well, there's their mid hero, the Viper.
Viper.
Yep. The scourge of all pubs. And apparently Adestam's main, but I'm not too sure if that's true or a meme.
Or you just throwing memes out into the
yeah.
Tinker was banned up, of course, by Energy, trying to just not allow them to get their mid pick. The ban from the anti-mage, so...
I mean, anti-mage as well, one of those heroes that are being very quickly banned in the all-pick style that is pub Dota because of his strength in this patch, and especially since the little mini 707B came out, massively high win rate. So not necessarily a hero you want to allow through, especially if you're playing against a team that can shut you down and farm like Energy can.
Oh,
and the Death Prophet.
That's going to be the Death Prophet mid. The Crobulace. It's time for our favorite part of the stream, Beetle. Skins.
Hats.
Hats.
I mean, Timber's alright. Obviously,
yeah.
I feel like.
Yeah,
he's...
Look at. I think Tupac's got another cool looking Slardar. I mean, look at him.
Yeah, actually, the Slardar...
Yeah, he had a beautiful looking Night Stalker that I don't think won the previous round. So
yeah, and I mean,
I feel he's got good hat game right now.
Yeah, he does. I mean, if he had the Night Stalker in the last game, I think his hack game is on point. I mean, in terms of a high average, Tupac is definitely up there. But I do like the steampunk that is that Timbersaw. Just gonna quickly ask them to rebuild as soon as this game starts.
Is I don't even have the camera. Okay, so they're gonna rebuild it. Yay. What is going on with these items? Everything is just like switching around really quickly. Okay, so we're disconnecting from the game. We'll
Yep.
I'm gonna switch back to our beautiful faces while
Hi.
hello.
Just a
Is
quick,
Rickus back in Skype though?
I mean, he should be. I feel like he is.
Rickus?
Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Can you hear me
Yeah.
now?
Fantastic. Here we go.
Please join
The lobby.
this time. Yeah. You just messed around Energy Esports and New Text Document. They just have to rebuild their game right now because of the noobness of the Noob stream. That's true.
Yeah, just making sure they feel the noobness.
Yeah, I mean, if the casters aren't noob, then who is going to be? I mean, it's not the teams.
Yeah, it's not the teams.
We can have some filler music. Rickus, you're the musician.
Bow, chicka, bow, wow, bow,
Yo,
chicka,
whoa, whoa!
bow,
As long as there's no
bow.
visuals needed for this.
Yeah, let's go into the draft screen again. This is going to be a super rush through rebuild. We should see much of a muchness, and it looks like Energy's actually attached their banners for this.
Okay.
Well, that was a very, very easy victory coming out for New Text Document. Possibly
I didn't change the
fastest-
game mode. There's another new
Oh, is it meant to be an
caster
AP?
era.
as
Yeah, you got to
opposed
change it to
Yeah.
AP and
Okay, so we're back with our faces once again.
game mode. Okay. Here we go.
Round 3. So times
We can do this. We can do this. As together, we can rebuild.
I'll support. Someone else can cast.
Yeah, I was just asking if any of the players want to let me play the off lane, but I don't think they want that to happen.
It's okay because it's all pick. If you pick a bonus hero, you get a free mango. So they're just saying,
Yeah, there's just a gentleman's
You-
agreement. You eat your mango. From
eat
the
your
bonus
mango
hero.
before the game starts.
Yeah, no, I think that's fair.
All pick.
Or the pick.
Cue filler music. Bow,
No,
chicka,
we're not
bow,
allowed
wow,
any more for
bow.
the music. Beetle Bandits.
Oh,
No, the music's fine just as long as we don't have to recite the act that normally goes along with that sort of music.
And now we don't know. I know the act that goes with that from the 90s.
Yeah.
Energy didn't get their banners, so I'm sad. We don't have Energy banners. But we've got NTD banners. And since I obviously picked NTD earlier on, I favor the banners. It's actually good to have you back, Rickus. Beetle and I were feeling
Aw.
so
Yeah, we were
awkward.
floundering badly.
Yeah, it
Yeah,
was
it's-
crazy.
it sounded like you guys were doing all right there. So
I can't believe you just
you
left
made me
us
proud in my
entirely.
absence.
You could have just come back there and just been like bantering off. You just left us as if both of you actually. I couldn't hear anyone. Like there was a moment where Beetle was completely muted, but I could see his mouth moving, and I was sheer panicked, man.
Yeah.
I was sheer panicked.
I mean, I was panicked too because you were away and there was silence for a long time.
Well, I was just trying to check that the internet and stuff was all still fine. You know, the stuff that I have to just make sure of.
So let's have a look and see who got a free mango.
No one. I don't see.
Is it mango?
Well, Timber has a mango, but I don't know if he bought it.
I don't know
or
if it's free.
Yeah.
We don't.
That
Anyway,
is the
this
question.
is Game 2, Energy versus NTD. We finally got there. It is 1-0 at the moment to Energy Esports. This could be the deciding game. We could go to a Game 3 depending on if NTD pulls a rabbit out of their proverbial hat. G-Max and Rambo. Enjoy the cast. I'll see you on the other side.
We will see you on the other side. Like you said, we are back into Game 2. A couple technical issues caused by the shoutcasters themselves. You know, as we are prima donnas of note this time around, having to get a full rebuild of the lobby because my fellow Rambo decided he didn't feel like joining the lobby. So, Rambo, I'm throwing you under the bus for that one. How does it feel how does it feel to hold up Pro Dota 2 on the Noob stream?
You know, I feel honored that they would actually rebuild the lobby to ensure that the best possible entertainment gets out there.
No, they just could not stand to leave G-Max to do just his thing by himself, and they realized that someone else's voice with a much better voice for radio should be used.
Yeah, fair enough. Call it as you will.
Okay, so right
But
now...
it is, yeah, it's looking nice and pretty here. It seems like it was a fair one-for-one trade when it comes to for runes.
Did you see our fun fact coming out there from our stats man? Fun fact, this is not the best possible entertainment, and that is the truth, but we will try our best. ACG going to match up against Sangreal middle once again on that Viper. Very, very hard hitter. As your HP actually declines, you start to get a couple of extra attacks. He's gone for the poison attack, which of course does bonus damage and stun. Look at this. Sangreal playing very aggressively with the lifesteal out towards mid. He's just trying to give ACG a hard time right now. But up top, this is where the action's happening. MMR Agent on that Tide Hunter down very low. Tupac just hitting hard. That Klink's trying to get the last hit. Is going to get it. Text with that everlasting long arrow shot coming in to get first blood. So right now, it looks like that aggressor changing up. And in this game, new text document taking a note from Energy's book in the previous game and just putting the pressure on early. And let's see how Energy responds to this. Tupac is up close again, and he's got a tentacle smash of his own. And out towards middle, in fact, bottom, sorry, Epic for Days has dropped down. So Energy responds, off lane for off lane, and they've actually picked up their opening kill onto Epic for Days. He's playing on that Pit Lord, is that his name? Underlord? Pit Lord? Underlord? His name's been changed a couple of times. Underlord, that's his name. He throws down a lot of spam that gets a lot of AoE creep kills. You can see him just calling in the Firestorm right now.
Oh no.
He's been put to sleep. He's in trouble here. He's played very, very aggressively. And look at the sun is right behind him. DMBN is just hunting down. But Tupac is there on the Slardar to give his teammates some support. So doesn't look like they're going to find Epic for Days. He's picked up the bounty rune for his troubles. And he's just going to back on up. Let's have a look over at the last hits. Looks like Timber leading the charts, followed up by Sangreal on that Crobulus. Middle, just ACG losing out with 2. It's too early to call the lanes just yet. Copyright infringement, Pit Lord is a trademark of Blizzard Entertainment. Please, no lawsuits. Yeah, if you sue me, you're not going to get much. Just
No, don't worry, that goes both ways for both casters.
Okay, we're struggling actors. Epic for Days, he's in trouble. He's been put to sleep by Bane and gonna just get Timber chained. A nice little combo coming out from that Bane Timber combo. And Epic for Days, he's retreated to those trees. And Timber, you know, lives up to his name, destroying what he needs. Tupac has the double damage rune, but he's in trouble. Nice double stun. Gonna stop, look at the sun, and DMBN in their tracks. And up top, there's still a lot of action just going down. It looks like MMR Agent going to take a lot of damage. Klink's trying to do what he can. Chelsea just harassing. And Dark Dice just on the other side of the creep hall, trying to make things happen. Chelsea's very, very aggressive. He's harassing Text down. And now the slow comes out from MMR Agent. The anchor smash as well. Text is very, very low. Couple more right clicks and he will be down. He found one. A nice save coming out from the Dark Dice. Might not be enough though, as the creep block coming in from Chelsea. Very, very nice to just secure that. and lock things down. Up top, down bottom, I mean, Tupac and Epic for Days in trouble. And middle, it looks like Sangreal, the only one from his team, giving out a little bit of a thumping. But he's going to just turn right around his ACG, and he's going hard. This is going to be a battle of the last half. Will ACG get it? He doesn't. Sangreal, with a cheeky little play, does have a little bit of poison on him, but enough to just survive it. Does have the healing salve to make things work as well. Get his HP back up. So, middle, Sangreal making things work. Previous game, he had a hard game with the Outworld. And right now, just getting his own back. There's no support for ACG middle. That must be noted this game. So, right now, in the early game, Krob just strong-arming with the magic ability. Going to pick up that illusion room. Use those illusions to help him get a couple of last hits. Rickus, go.
Yeah, the Spirit Siphon at this stage, during this early stage of the game, is actually really, really good, especially against the Viper. The Viper generally does some good damage over time with the Viper Strike and the Poison Attack. So you want to try and essentially suck him dry while he's trying to tick you down. So you're balancing out whatever he's dealing to you and then dealing more right-click damage to him while you do that. As in the top lane, we actually get the Winter Wyvern picking up a nice little cheeky kill there onto MMR Agents on the Tidehunter. Yeah,
it was nice play there. Tide sort of overextended. The freeze came in. They turned around. A lot of DPS coming in from Wyvern and of course Text just with the fire arrows to just melt him away. Looks like middle, DMBN, he's rotated in mid, as has Tupac. It looks like a little bit of action going to go down. ACG wants to go in Sangreal. DMBN going to come in. Spirit Siphon onto the Bane Elemental there and just trying to turn it around. Tupac is on the high ground. He's got that spin and that stun to just try and, just that stun to prevent them from, getting too close. And Wyvern's rotation also going to be forced in. He's going to be caught out, in fact, by Tidehunter. And in a little bit of a trouble himself. Tupac going to miss his slam. And not going to be able to capitalize on anything there. But does give space to Wyvern and allow him, that little position to escape.
Yeah, I mean, well, in the bottom lane, Epic for Days is in trouble as, look at the sun. Throws out a nice little Whirling Death there to just pick him up. Picking up the 2 points into Whirling Death as well as the reactive armor. So the right clicks that come from the Underlord on dealing that much. And also he can just stand between the creeps and tank it all up while his creeps survive. So he's probably going to start applying pressure onto this tier 1 pretty soon once rotations come in. And then they can stop pressuring that. But Chelsea in the top lane actually picking up a nice little cheeky kill with a TP and on the Nature's Prophet.
Yeah, a nice little stun coming out as well to just stop Tupac from, or Tupac tried to do something with his stun, but didn't really manage to escape the 3 heroes. And of course, Nature's Prophet, that hero that just has the ability to be everywhere. Tree Rat. Nature's Prophet can create ends from trees and is very mobile using his teleportability. That's exactly what I was just about to talk about. I promise you I have free thoughts as well. It's not just my stats man that tells us. But anyway, very, very low cooldown. He can teleport anywhere on the map and lock people down in trees, as well as turn trees into his own controllable creatures that can be used to block other heroes, push down towers, farm, everything. You can use them for everything.
Yeah, they're essentially just some extra creeps that you spawn out of the trees. But one important thing to note is you don't want to be feeding them too much to your opponents because they do still supply a good amount of golden XPs. They actually supply more than your standard creeps. So you don't want to just be feeding them away and giving your enemy some free farm there as well.
Yeah, that's a good note. So being able to micro them to a point where they're useful and not sort of hindering your team because you're creating extra units for the team to get gold and money out of. Right now, a little bit of action going down south. Look at the Sun. He's up against Epic for Days as well as Tupac. And right now, Timbersaw just tanking up all of the, what is it called, reactive armor charges. Currently he's sitting on 10. So he's just sitting on 21 HP a second. Look at him just running around on Epic for Days. He doesn't mind if anything hits him. And he's just trying to force out what he can. Looks like he is going to be caught out in a little stun there. Going to throw out the Chakram and try and make things happen. When he's around the trees and doing damage, he has a lot of pure damage ability. And it looks like the TP actually going to come in, going to catch Epic for days as he gets one kill. Just look at the sun. The ulti coming out from Crobulus as he's put to sleep. And may not be enough to get anything done on Look at the Sun. There are a couple of ghosts chasing him right now. And he is going to just get into safety. Isn't worried at all. They're not chasing him down. Secured the kill that they needed. The TP coming in middle. There's pressure. Epic for days is going to be the man. He is going to be ultied immediately by ACG. And DBM just going to throw some extra damage down. Epic for days just ticking down to that Viper ultimate. Is going to survive on low HP with the TP coming in from Chelsea. Very, very cheeky up behind to find one. Turning on the Dark Dice as well. Has treed him up using the trees to try and get around and get the body block on. But the ultimate, or the ice freeze from Dark Ice, going to just save him up there. Viper does get the last hit with MMR Agent just slowing him down with that gush. Very nice play from Tidehunter to just wrap in from the side and throw down that gush. Enough to just slow him down, do that DPS, and pick up the kill that probably wouldn't have got if he had managed to run out of there freely.
Yeah, it's smart to play from the side of NTD, as we do see a sleep coming out here towards this mid lane, as action is not quite over yet. Tupac getting caught out here again. ACG is going to start right-clicking away of him as the Spirit Siphon comes out here from Sangreal. Sangreal now doing a lot of damage here onto DBMD, as Epic for Days throws down the route, only going to catch one. And that'll be the end of that. But as I was saying, the smart move would have actually been from NCD to stay bot where they were busy fighting Energy with the fantastic exorcism up on Sangreal, and then push onto that bottom tier 1, because that does deal a lot of good damage onto the towers. And then rotate into the mid and probably just end up trading tier 1s, whereas they now lost 3 heroes and a lot of HP on their mid tower, and not even gaining the advantage of the bottom tier 1 either. So not really playing the mathematical game there quite correctly, but I don't think too much damage was done there.
Yeah, I mean, Energy does have 9 kills right now, but it feels like a little bit of a different game. NTD is playing a little bit more aggressive. They're rotating earlier. They're trying to, you know, not allow Energy to get too far ahead, just stomping on one specific lane. And in terms of what they've done there, they've changed up their game style coming into game 2, which is what you want to see when watching a game of Dota, especially after game 1, which seemed completely one-sided. This does feel like a new place. While you're busy over there, Klinks was busy split pushing, using a team fight happening elsewhere to push the top lane and tower down a bit, correct. So as space is created, Klinks is just up there playing the rat style of Dota that Klinks does. And look at the sun now trying to go in Dark Dice. We'll find one, trying to capitalize more on Text, who's just standing. Has found the Bane for his troubles, but going to pay with his life. Is rooted, but the Timber Chain's going to just be enough to slide right on through. Epic for days now in a bit of trouble as ACG uses the ultimate on him. And just no HP for that poor Underlord to survive. And continuing that tyranny, they're heading towards middle. But backing right on out is Bane and Chelsea. I thought they were going to try and do a little bit more. It looks like the TP from Chelsea actually going to come towards top. They do have 2 heroes here as well. Looks like they're going to try and pressure this top tower down. No reaction probably going to come out from NTD. Heroes positioned all around the map as Klinks just TPs down towards bottom. Dark Dice is mid. This is going to be a free top tower for Energy. And their first tier 1 for the game.
Yeah, this is the Nature's Prophet going right to work as it should duly do. We do see him building toward that Orchid of the Malevolence,
Look
which
down
is
bottom,
going to
it's
help.
a big ground tentacles coming out from MMR Agent as he prevents that tower being taken. And now it's just time for Timbersword to go to town. ACG's on a killing spree and just wiping things up. Poor old Tidehunter's paid for his troubles, but Epic for Days is a little bit late in there. May pay with his life right now, caught up by the slow from ACG's poison on Viper, and the Timber Chain is coming back in. He is trying to TP out. Will he get out? He does, just in time. A very, very good escape with 3 very angry heroes trying to make him pay with his life. But up top, Chelsea with that rat hero is just forcing pressure on that top tier 2, forcing Dark Dice to TP up top and deal with those random spawns. Whilst 3 energy heroes still towards this bottom position, as you can see, allowing them to pressure this tier 2 in response as well. So just real good split push ability coming out using that Nature's Prophet That's what that hero can do. And Energy just capitalizing on kills that they get by, you know, also just splitting the push as well, getting those objectives done.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, they did run straight into a Ravage. I don't think they were quite expecting the rotations coming out from Energy there towards the bottom lane, as another kill drops down here, and it's more action going down as ACG is just right-clicking away towards the invisible Clinks, but he is standing inside of the poison. Oh!
Clinks survives with 1 HP and a dream. Not really one, but, you know, when it's so low, I call it one. He just escaped, and he's going to pick up a DD rune now for his troubles. Like, he needed a regen rune. He's not even going to pick it up. He's going to leave it for Sangreal. He's got the bottle. The bottle, of course, for those that don't know, allows you to save a rune. I don't want to miss any action, but yes, you can see he's now bottled that double damage rune to use for later. We'll get extra charges to use on his bottle once he uses it as well. So there's a bit of incentive for your bottle carrier to pick up the runes. Clinks was too low to capitalize on the double damage, so he just gave that up for his Crobblers. Remember, runes are important. Give it to the right people when you're playing pub games. Not like Beetle, who just hogs the runes.
Yeah, runes of course playing a very big part, but it is going to be NTD taking the fight to Energy at this stage, trying to apply pressure to his bottom lane. But it is actually Chelsea who is back in the top lane, doing what natures do best, split pushing all the way. But we haven't actually had a look at the Sun, who has now built a Bloodstone, which we saw in the previous game on the Storm Spirit as well, which does a lot of mana regen.
Action starting to transpire down bottom. Rickers, sorry to interrupt you there, but there are 4 heroes. The ulti from Crob coming out, Spirit Siphon being used on ACG. Look at Tidehunter, big ground tentacles again coming in from Tidehunter with the Spirits. I mean, the Timber Chains to just lock things down. Dark Dice in trouble right now. Big Bane ultimate to lock down, as it's just a complete team wipe coming out. Once again, Tidehunter pays for his life, but with those marvelous tentacles, as Beetle likes to call them, well worth it for the team wipe. Creating space, allowing pressure to be put onto this tier 1 bottom, even allowing Nature's Prophet to TP towards top and put pressure on that top tower after this push down bottom. So this is going to force out a reaction to defend down bottom. NTD most likely will send 1 towards top. There are creeps about to push in, but they can now push on this tier 2 top, tier 2 bottom, and force NTD in. So you see here, look, here comes NTD, and this is now the time that the Nature's Prophet possibly wants to head towards top and force them to re-come out there. But it looks like NTD is running on deep. They want to try and find one of these Energy players on the back foot. They've spotted out ACG. Clinks is running around invisible right now, trying to just bait out, see if they can find any. Sangreal's committing quite hard. Look at the Sun is coming in from behind. He's been picked up by 4 heroes, but he could play the big bait. ACG is going hard, and that's a quick death on Timbersaw, just too much to deal with. And this could be a problem as Spirit Siphon goes on ACG. Tidehunter is there. He's trying to do as much as he can, but look at ACG's HP. He's dropping down very, very low. Clink's going hard. And on the back foot, Chelsea just cleaning things up. He's found 1, trying to find more, but now he's the focus of the action. Look at the Sun cleans up 1, trying to come back in and counter up with what these guys are doing. DMBN on a killing spree as he drops epic for days, and I just missed that beautiful. Look at the Sun Timber Chains to find the last one. I missed everything at the end. I'm sorry, my mouse is bad. I'm blaming the mouse. I'm blaming the mouse.
Noob stream. No, it was actually a very, very uncoordinated fight there from the side of NTD. They almost had a lackluster approach with the Clinks looking towards the backline and trying to get a nice little pick-off, which he did end up getting on ACG, but then not managing to get back into the fight to coordinate with the rest of his team. And now it's just transitioning into an nice and early tier 2 here for the side
early
of
ulti
Energy.
from Bane onto Underlord, with Timber just throwing the chakram down for added insult to injury, as well as going on middle. Crob is in trouble. Sangreal and Chelsea, 2 hard DPS dealers. ACG is just going ham, trying to throw down that poison. Guess managed to pick him up, but Puck, the man with a plan, is there to back his teammate up. So not going to extend too far. Look at the Sun still just putting on pressure bottom. And right now, like I mentioned earlier, just a lot of reactions to Energy plays from NTD. Still playing aggressively. They are picking up a couple of kills every now and then. A 9k net worth lead for Energy. I feel that they're playing sort of in their comfortable zone right now. It's always been up to NTD to sort of raise the game up to where Energy plays at. But you are playing against a top tier team and taking from that. Wishing Gmax was this quiet. Death Prophet has an ability that silences heroes in a targeted area, which I just realized after half reading that you were actually throwing shade at me. So yes, Death Prophet has the ability to silence heroes in an area E, much like reading a stats that's about keeping you quiet. So Crobulus, very, very effective in team fights, stopping people being able to use the foul. DMBN playing that aggressive sort of bait roll in, running right in, trying to just use his enfeeble, stop people using any of their attacks. I don't think he managed to proc it off. Did force out Pit Lord / Underlord / I can't say his original name. I'm sorry. I just remember him from Warcraft 3. Underlord. Can't say his new name. Underlord.
Yeah, he threw out his Pit of Malice, which does give you an AoE root, which means as soon as you run in there, you are stuck in that position and cannot use any of your abilities or right click for X amount of time. He throws it out, but it's not a very long cooldown, so he'll be right and ready for the next defense. And this is going to be a big fight for NTD because this tier 2 actually gives a lot of vision towards Roshan. So it's going to be a pretty big one for them to actually try and keep up and running.
Yeah, it looks like they're committing everything towards trying to keep things here. We see the tree ends coming out, the mana being used up. ACG has already used his ulti. Krob's dropped hers, and right now the Chakra Magic going right down in. Look at that, big tentacles coming out once again, and just combining that up with that Chakra Magic from Timber. He's just going ham, using those Timber chains as well as the Whirling Death to just capitalize as much as possible. Sangreal, the last man alive, other than Klinks, who kind of isn't with the rest of his team. He's trying to rat out towards bottom, but unfortunately that's going to mean losing a tier 2 middle and possibly being picked up by Timber. No, Timber doesn't find him. Klinks manages to escape, so a little bit of Ratata. That's a Pokemon, isn't it? Ratata.
I just know Rat-tat-tat, which is a Fallout Boy song.
Okay, Ratatats. From Pokemon to Fallout Boy to Energy versus NTD in the Mega8 Noob stream. It's your boy Gmax, and I'm casting alongside my homie Rickus. Thank you so much for coming through last minute. We had some internet issues and production issues, but everybody's been a champion so far. We had Camille earlier, and now you. And it's been a blast doing some Dota 2 with you guys. And of course, Beetle on the hosting as well as stats, while Sargon does grown-up responsible things. It's been a good day. Tex now goes hard on Chelsea up top and does manage to find him. Stops that rat trying to do what he's does best up top. And now just going to farm up those free extra spawns like you mentioned earlier.
Yeah, and a very, very key pickup for him as well is the Desolator, which lowers your enemy's armor and increases your physical damage output over time, which is really, really good for trying to take down buildings and also heroes with a very low HP pool and low armor to begin with. So he is going to be melting into the support of the side of Energy pretty soon as well.
One thing that we haven't really touched on a lot in our noob streams is possibly the items that people build and the uses for them. And I think going in from the next week, we might do a little segment on items. It's been something of a way for us to try and just explain how Dota works. And right now, let me just stop myself. Tidehunter trying to de-ward, gonna get caught out by an army of angry NTD players. Gonna pay with his life as Tex secures the last document, but it's a re-engagement as Crobulus forced with the ulti. Underlord just locking everyone down, doing that DPS, but a lot of work being done by Timber, but he's been focused down. ACG on the back lines does get Puck at the end of the day, 2 Puck on that Slardar, but not enough to really say that was worth it. They've lost 2 heroes right now as Energy, as NTD really just played that aggressive role. Find Tidehunter in a very bad place trying to sort of ward and force the response in that they even capitalized the second kill off. So going to shrine up right now. For those that didn't catch us earlier, these little things give you an HP and mana boost without having to run all the way back to the main shrine. However, you do have a timed usage on them, so we see 300 seconds whilst that thing gets back and ready.
Yeah, the previous team fight actually going really, really well for NTD, being able to catch out the Tide Hunter, who was all on his lonesome, and actually had a very, very good example of how well the Desolator works. Because Tide Hunter in general has a very high base armor and HP pool, and then the physical damage that came out from the Clinks during that fight with the -6 armor for that duration really did a lot of work to help them bring him down, and also up against the Timber, but it is Roshan who is going to be falling now for the side of Energy, and a second life on 2. Look at the sun indeed.
Yeah, I think that's a good player to have it on. He's kind of been focused down very recently in the last couple of fights. They've picked up that he's just sitting doing so much DPS if they don't focus him down. That they've kind of put a lot of effort onto getting him down early in fights. So a good thing to notice or mention as well, of course, is that Orchid that's been picked up by the Nature's Prophet. That gives him the passive ability to silence as well as the extra magical damage. Chelsea with 2 disgusting big hits, it felt like, but I think DMBN also made sure to get that kill with a little health still. ACG very, very deep right now. Big tentacles coming in to try and save the day. They are going to be able to turn in on this fight. Text is very, very low. Sangreal is trying to do something. He's made sure that his Black King bar is going to big usage right now. A lot of spells have been used. He's forcing people out of the base. But right now, it's look at the Sun who's trying to escape. And NTD seemingly survived. Just another sort of push. ACG played very, very, very aggressive up there. Big Bad Roshan respawns in between 8 and 11 minutes and drops more items each time. Right now, we can see the clock. We can just only guess where things are going to kick off. So right now, they're trying to lock down the top lane. Energy on the offensive. They do have low HP players, so I'm not sure that they can really commit a full array of heroes as Chelsea does the Nature's things down bottom lane. More creeps on his side, and Text actually going to go right behind him. Chelsea in a lot of trouble, taking a lot of damage from Text, trying to get out of there. Does use his trees to try and get out. Puck is going to stun him up, and that's going to punish that cheeky little push coming out from Chelsea. Does do enough damage onto the tower to maybe finish that off on another push like that, but right now, that's not enough.
Yeah, that's not what he wanted to be doing. Essentially, he wanted to just be able to get out of there. But he thought that Tex would probably head up towards the top lane, seeing that he's trying to complete his BKB. Trying to get a nice little pick off there on the Tide Hunter, who was down to half HP. Maybe head into the jungle, just try and get some basic farm to complete up his blacking bar, which is now done, finished, and completed, which allows him now to negate a lot of the spells that the side of Energy will be throwing out. So that gives him spell immunity for the next 10 seconds on his first use, 9 seconds, 8 seconds, and so on and so forth, down all the way down to 5 seconds after his 5th use then. So that's really going to be helping him out quite a lot during the next couple of fights.
Yeah, it looks like a little cheeky smoke being used up here. So smoke allows the team to run undetected unless they run near an enemy hero, in which case they'll be revealed. But they can run free of sight from wards and kind of get into position. Text is going to be running nearest to any of the enemies. He spotted out 2 and actually just broken a smoke. So they're well aware of where he is, and this courier snipe is going to be easy peasy. Courier has been killed with no items in it. DMBM just picked it up, but they have managed to drop that courier. So there is a cooldown on that courier coming back in. Energy doesn't seem to mind. They seem to be moving the army towards this bottom lane now and edging their way ever so closely to this bottom tier 3 tower and barracks.
Yeah, of course, once they have taken down the tier 3 tower, it will allow them to actually take out the shrines, which are outside the base, thus stopping any attempt from NTD to try and do a wraparound on their next push. And they will more than likely try and do this with a very slow siege, trying to build up reactive armor charges on the Timbersaw, maybe just wait for a nice blink or forced off an opportunity for the side of MMR Agent to get off a good ravage. And for the side of NTD, it's actually going to be very much waiting for the prime opportunity to get a very, very good Winter's Curse off, according to me, which should revolve mainly around ACG if I were NTD.
Okay, so right now Chakra Magic just being thrown out by Timbersaw. He's just trying to do a little bit of damage that he can. Very, very easy creep stop for the side of Energy. Nice attack range from ACG. He can actually attack the tower from up here. It's ironic that Nature's Prophet actually picked up that Meteor Hammer. New item in the new patch. Has the ability to stun on towers. We once saw multiple Meteor Hammers in a game. Beetle was a witness to that, and that was quite... it was actually rather disturbing seeing 5 Meteor Hammers in one game. Cursing an enemy with Winter Wyvern Curse. Cause your team... Oh, I'm missing out on a big anchor... smash coming out. Is it an anchor? No, it wasn't. It was a big... I can't even think of the word now. It's ground tentacles, but what's the...
Ravage!
Ravage! I can't get ground tentacles out of my name. ACG is in trouble. It looks like he's being focused down by the Clinks on the back line. But in return, they are going to find Clinks. And right now, Sangreal trying to do as much damage as possible. He's on the back foot. He's taking a lot of spirit damage. He's trying to throw that Chakra Magic out. He's been silenced down as well. Possibly going to be stunned as well. Look at Nature's Prophet trying to get the trees, which he does, but that might not be enough. Does have a big Timber Chains away, trying to just juke out Tupac. Does find it, is almost stunned, but gonna get the TP out. So very well played from Look at the Sun on the Timber Saw to get his way out. And unfortunately, I don't think the same can be said for the Bane Elemental, as he's going to just fall right down.
Yeah, unfortunately, losing the Tidehunter and the Bane wouldn't have been such a big deal, but they do end up losing ACG, which is sitting 4th on the net worth charts at this stage. So he is a big deal of the damage that they are trying to output. So not the prime trade there for them. I mean, the side of NTD only really losing the Clinks. They managed to defend their high ground, and it's all very well and done for the side of NTD. And even Epic for Days able to escape Look at the Sun when he TPs back to lane.
I thought Chelsea was going to get stunned there, but Puck didn't actually manage to do that. And right now they're just kind of sending in that split push towards top. They haven't done a lot of damage to the towers top. Bottom is slightly damaged. Their pushing is slowly working out. So if they commit enough players up into, you know, that position, they've showed that they can drop down one of those tier 3 towers. We see a double damage rune going to spawn out towards bottom. Any hero that picks that gets 2 times the damage. 100% damage amplification.
Oh yes, and it is oh so crucial. If they do manage to pick this up onto ACG, that will be quite a big turnaround heading into the next fight, as Text is roaming around and looking for a pick-off possibly onto Bane, who is sitting right on the other side of the map, so he is going to have absolutely no luck. That is more what Clinks are known for, is just running around the map and trying to get cheeky pickups onto supports rather than straight up fighting it. And he's actually going to go for ACG, who will be just fine.
Yeah, ACG trying to farm the Ancients there. The nuisance of Clinks coming in to just tell him that he is aware of what he's doing. That does mean that Clinks isn't in the middle, and that allows the teammates to react. It looks like a big ulti coming out from Bane. Look at that. You're completely dead, unfortunately. The Winter's Curse actually going to save him up. Does he get out? No, he doesn't. Look at the Sun. Going to say, nope, you can't. But Text now going to drop his BKB. Going to try and man fight it here. They're trying to focus on Timber. He's out of there. And right now, no one looking too worse for wear. It looks like Probulus does have her BKB as well as ulti available. And right now, very on the back foot for Energy Esports as they try and TP out of there. Will Viper get out? Yes, they will. Will Timber get out? Timber's just causing as much havoc as possible right now, as the ultimates just slow down. He's taken so many hits. Wyvern going to actually catch him and slow things down. The Force Staff going to give him a little bit of space. Is he going to be able to come back in? Chelsea is there on the back line. So much damage being done right now to poor old Timber. Look at the Sun. Just can't get out of there. And NTD just man-fighting their way back into this. One fight at a time. And timing-wise, just starting to look really strong when all 5 of them run around together.
Yeah, it is definitely the BKBs at this stage that's doing a big amount of work. You've got the BKB on Sangreal, which is now down to 7 seconds. That is doing a lot of work, allowing him to get the fuel duration exorcism off most of the time, because that negates a lot of the damage coming out from the Timber Saw. The Bane also not doing quite as much. No, he deals pure damage, so he's actually fine. But the Ravage not really too too effective anymore. Viper's Strike not doing as much anymore, and then the Clinks has now picked up BKB as well. So they're really doing a good job at negating the damage that Energy are trying to deal, and then just dragging the fight out long enough so that the big spells just aren't effective anymore.
Yeah, and it looks like Energy taking a tramp down towards that bottom tower once again. It looks like Pitlord going to be the man to just slow things down. Look at that AoE defensive attack. ACG from the back line just hitting things. He does have that Dragon Lance on board, of course, which allows him to, Hurricane Pike, should I say, allows him to just attack from such a long range away. And Energy all committing their players down towards this bottom lane as they really do want to try and go high ground here. Clinks has denied that tower, and that's given them roamage ability of the racks. They can now attack in the base. And it just looks like the teams are waiting for the other one to make a mistake, someone to extend a little bit far in. No one really jumping right in and saying, I'm going to do this right now, as we saw earlier. I think there's a little bit of turn and burn ability from NTD that Energy's realized that with those BKBs on board, and until those cooldowns are shortened down and they're used a little bit more, they've got to just take this very, very patiently, not give up too much, and just keep on the attack.
Yeah, as Energy is actually now looking towards Roshan, who has just respawned a little while back, and this will more than likely be a very, very big turning point for them. If they can pick up the Roshan now with the cheese and the Aegis on board, they should be able to have the fight running long enough to actually negate the BKBs that have come out from NTD. So then you'll essentially run in, have one or two heroes, sacrifice a huge amount of their HP pool, and then back out, wait for the BKBs to wear off, and then reinitiate with all of your big spells. But NTD actually know about this and are heading towards Roshan, and this is a huge fight for them.
It's actually an early BKB usage from Clinks, so if they can just sort of let this thing tie down, they are going to catch Clinks on the back line, but ACG is going to go ham. A big ground tentacles as the Ravage comes in, and this is a big fight for Energy as they're starting to capitalize hard on this. First one, the second one to drop will be Slardar, and now the focus being laid on Epic for days. He's just trying to get his team out there. The TP going down. Is he going to get out? No, he's not. And look at the Sun just going absolutely ham. So much team damage being done. Krob is up in the air with the ulti on and the BKB down, and trying to make things happen. ACG with that Hurricane Pike attack, being able to attack from so damn far. Those spirits need to return right now, but they're not there in time, and the fight actually going down underneath Roshan, in Roshan land. Dark Dice, the last man alive, and he is in so much trouble right now. That's going to be the full man, 5-man team wipe, and allow Energy to just have free reign of this Roshan land kill. I'm done.
What an impressive fight. I mean, the early BKB there from Clinks really showing what a big influence it has had on previous fights. Getting dispelled really, really early, and then the whole fight being dragged around this side, getting pulled up all the way up here onto the high ground where ACG was waiting for him, and then having to fight without his BKB and getting picked off. And once he was down, they could really focus on separating the fight. I mean, even Death Prophet being dragged around along the sides, getting negated, trying to get as much of the exorcism use out with the Yule Scepter as well, trying to buy some time, but it was just not enough. And well, Energy, the execution was just better, being able to split up the fight, wait for all the abilities on the side of NTD to just get used up. The BKBs come off cooldown, and then they initiated with a huge Ravage and clean up after that.
Yeah, Timber's got his Shivas, he's got his Bloodstone, he's carrying the cheese. He's got a Hood of Defiance to just negate some of that magic damage. Death from above. Nature's Prophet is the new meter hammer, which I did mention earlier, but got interrupted by a team fight, and has the ability to, of course, stun towers when pushing. Stun everything, in fact, when pushing. And right now, Energy trying to put pressure on this middle lane. They've got that tower bottom, but they're trying to get rid of as much ability to defend creeps and just allow creeps to push in on their natural accord without the call of order from the towers preventing those pushes in. So that kind of maintains balance. Towers maintain balance. They throw out rocks at enemy attacking heroes, and if you don't have heroes there to defend, well, your tower kind of has your back. So if you get your towers down, you can put some more pressure on. So it's always good to try and focus and get those objectives. We say that a lot, but that's kind of Dota, right? Objectives.
Yeah, Dota is an objective-based game. I mean, if you go straight into the game name, it's Defense of the Ancients, but there's actually a lot of action burning out
Yeah, poor Winter Wyvern. Like, you're so naked there when Bane is ulting you and Timber's just throwing chakram on your bootylicious body. Like, you can't escape that. So, unfortunately, Winter Wyvern, the not a dragon Wyvern, is actually dead rather quickly. It does mean that Bane's ultimate is down. 77 seconds cooldown on that. I'm getting caught up on my own words. It's been a long day.
It has, but now it is time for the side of NTD to actually mount this defense. As look at the sun runs straight up into the high ground. He gets rooted up, and it's actually going to be NTD who might look to try and take the aggressive fight here in this final stand.
Yeah, just baiting out the usage of the Crobulus ulti. Of course, those spirits are being used up right now, and look at how strong they are. ACG is dropping down so damn low. Does have an Aegis on board to slow things down on the back lines. A big Ravage coming in to try and just prevent all this damage going down, but right now it's Energy just losing out. As on the back lines we see the Timbersaw, look at the Sun, just really working hard but dropping a lot in return. Buybacks coming out on Clinks as look at the Sun now, doesn't have that cheese to use anymore, did have to drop it. Gonna find one onto Slardar with the sprint being used and just keeping things at bay. So unfortunately Bane and Tidehunter, the two to drop down. There are supports as ACG still in position here, is caught out by that little wind stick, and now going to try and man fight up against Clinks. Is going to get the better half, fighting very, very hard, finds Wyvern as well, and look at the Sun is there to back him up. Krob trying to steal as much health as possible, but doesn't have that BKB to use, and this should be a kill for them, but gonna just escape with the last second. Look at the Sun, doesn't want to allow this to happen, and he's going to chase down while NTD runs away in fear as ACG just goes ham on those barracks.
Yeah, and of course once these barracks are down, they will be receiving a nice little buff on their creep, so this bottom lane will constantly be pushing in towards the bottom lane, which will apply a lot more pressure.
Is in a little bit of trouble though out towards that bottom. He does manage to escape. The wind staff once again from Sangreal just saves him out there. That live summon spirit from Sangreal is just absolutely disgusting on Crobulus, as that BKB loses effectiveness. Nice use of the BKB coming out from Look at the Sun as he just jukes through on the stun and just running aggressively in the base, creating space for his team. Chelsea making things happen top as Epic for Days tries to respond, and Look at the Sun just really just baiting out two critical heroes here and not allowing them to defend their base at all.
Yeah, that is turned into 3 now, and it's actually going to be MMR Agent who is just slowly but surely running into this top lane and trying to get this last reaction in the top lane, but it's not going to happen as the TP comes in here from Epic for Days and he'll be able to get out.
Your Tidehunter typically not the guy with the most DPS to smash on towers, but he's up there anyway to of course stop the creep waves. Look at the Sun. He's literally just chilling here. The Dark Dice is losing HP. Tupac is losing HP. Look at the Sun is losing HP, but then getting it back. And Chelsea's just putting pressure on middle and just making things happen. So they've dropped the mid tower. They're going to congregate towards middle as well, as Look at the Sun gets a lovely little Chakram Magic and Timber Chains combination down. And now throws out that lovely slow from the chilling touch of the Shiva's God.
Yeah, big Winter's Curse, and there goes a Ravage from him.
Ravage! This is it. This is it.
This should be it.
Text Documents is going to call GG. Yes, they do. That is it. It is over. We have to wait until the throne gets crushed. GG, well played called. Krub trying to just get a kill at the end there, unfortunately not managing it. Energy wins 2. Ooh! I just burp excited myself before the panel. I'm sorry. Let's get
excited.
With, yeah, with that bombshell, let's get back to the panel.
Thanks very much, GMax and Rambo. Our streak continues. Another 2-0. We've not yet seen a game 3 on the Noob stream in 4 weeks of Dota.
No, it's actually
pretty
crazy.
amazing.
That's it's nutty. Rick is still smiling. I see when we've switched over to the lovely panel view. He's been happy the whole stream.
It was beautiful, Dota. There's no reason not to smile.
I mean, NTD had a couple of good fights in there, right? It wasn't completely lost for them. They had there was some fights, especially in the bottom lane there near their jungle. No,
I think they played a lot more aggressively. I think the way that Sangreal played game 2 compared to game 1 on the OD that he had. His Crob was much stronger up against ACG middle. ACG didn't have the easy game that he had in game 1, and even struggled a little bit. You know, Clinks was picking him off rather easily on the back foot, just running in there and obviously just going ham with what Clinks can do. So no shade at ACG, of course. I'm just saying that I feel NTD actually stepped up and delivered a better game. So well played NTD, and of course well played Energy. The victors 2-0.
Yeah, I think NTD really did a good job this game. I mean, they had a good amount of control during their draft. I think the Clinks was a bit of an odd pickup for me. It did do a decent job throughout the whole game of just getting pickoffs on the back lines. But generally, the whole rest of the lineup revolved around team fights, grouping up together and pushing. Whereas the Clinks generally likes to be a bit more off on his own, and that didn't really pay off too well towards the later stages. But even with the BKB, he did manage to participate at least during those team fights, which really helped out NTD quite a bit.
Sargon just dropping into the chat to say, Rickus, don't worry, he doesn't have a cam either. So you are camless in your brotherhood of camless people.
But at least Rickus smiles in his picture.
Yeah, that's true. He's not some strange statue with a weird thing over its mouth. Obviously, we're going to get a lot of flack from Sargon for not knowing what that is.
A lot of flack for whatever that thing is. He's well educated on that stuff.
I think that's it for the Noob stream. Rambo, thanks very much for filling in for our OG Prophecy, who was struck by Zeus earlier and lost his internet, so he couldn't join us today. And Camille in game 1 as well. So today we saw. Why am I so bad with remembering these team names? It's a problem. XD taking down Divine in the first series 2-0, and in the second series Energy Esports taking out NTD 2-0 as well. So another day of 2-0s. G-Max, you've been fantastic and fabulous.
I was busy trying to pose like Rickus on the stream, so I'm sorry.
How did it go?
It didn't go too well. I realized I was doing a weird thing with my eyeballs, so I regret ever doing that. It's been fantastic, Beetle.
Participation medal.
Yeah, I love doing the Noob stream with you. This is fantastic. This is like the best way to spend Sunday. I actually I can't stop laughing at how silly I am sometimes.
Well, and also I think now's a good time to say good luck for your cast next weekend.
Thank you very much.
Since we're I mean, I'm not going to drop any names, but
yes,
should be good. You and Camille are going to be casting next weekend, and then on Sunday we will see you again for the Mega8 Noob stream. I don't know what games we're doing next weekend, but we'll announce it on social media over the next couple of days. Yeah. Thanks very much to everybody that joined us, and thanks for Shiny ZA.
Don't forget to go and follow Rickus.
Yes.
At RickusStrauss16.
At RickusStrauss16. And obviously all of us, because we're pretty amazing as well. At Beetle001, at Shiny_ZA, at ZA_GMax. And that's everybody that was here today, right?
That was everybody that was here today. And Carmel at, is it K
Chickte. Yeah. That's it. Yeah, just that. Otherwise, just go look at him throwing shade at me on Twitter today, since he's allowed to. There's a lot of free pass.
He did save us today, so big shout out to him for popping in last minute to prevent me from having to solo cast that, and of course Rickus as well. You've made it absolutely so much fun, and I can't wait to see you guys next week.
Yeah, after your big moment. And also, just a note, GMax, just leave the stream running for about a minute or two after we end, because it has to finished doing its upload and thing. Otherwise, it just ends it in the middle of our chat. I figured it out last week.
Okay, I'll just.
It's a bit of on-air production tips.
Well, I don't know if my my closing screen is such a good idea to go to, because last time it was my XSplit. But
okay, so we're just gonna have to stand super still for like 2 minutes.
Yeah. So just everybody, Rickus, you might win this competition, Beetle. I want you to try your hardest. So get into a comfortable position, everybody. I'm gonna get comfortable as well. Okay.
I can't see you, but I want to know what you're doing. Anyway, we'll see you next week. Thanks very much for tuning in, everybody that did. Bye.
Thank you, guys. Now this is the awkward moment where we're just letting it upload. You guys are free
just have
to leave.
Yeah, you can go now. I mean, I don't even know why you're still here. There's literally 11 people still,
guys,
and it's really strange.
Why is the go to? It's Sunday. There's a movie that you can watch.
On Mnet, is that still a thing? Mnet movies.
I think it's still a thing. Rickus, do you watch the Mnet movie?
I don't necessarily watch Eminem movies anymore. I'm more of a Netflix person.
Yeah,
Netflix
me
and
too.
chill,
What about
that's-
Carte Blanche? They could be uncovering something scandalous.
I don't need to watch Carte Blanche when I go to work tomorrow. The Tunnies tell me everything that happened on Carte Blanche. I get a full too long didn't read summary, as well as opinions. Like you don't.
I just
get
want to
that
give a
anywhere
shout out
else.
to UF Disciple for being a real person. Apparently, he's having a crisis of
Originality.
human status.
I want
Person
to give. I want to
status.
also give a shout out to him. You have
Yeah.
disciple.
Okay, go do it.
Shout out to you for
Brett.
being a real person.
shout out for being real.
Shout out for being real.
I
We
mean,
can
that's got to
do
be 2
home
minutes, right?
slice.
Are you counting?
I'm doing gang signs for. Okay, is that enough? Can I go?
I'm sure it's enough. See you next week if you're even seeing this anymore. Who knows?
So if you guys saw everything that you saw now, we apologize. This was meant to be off camera, but it
Yeah.
still says live, so I don't know. Bye bye.
I mean, it could still be happening.